All right. Let me take this down. All right. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Surprise, surprise. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of the Wives Club. The Wives Club was started in 2021 when I booked a session with the late, great Kevin Samuels because I wanted to build a community of like-minded and marriage-minded women. So what we do each week is we take Kevin's content and we respond to it as current, former, and future wives. Luke Casely is with me tonight. You all know Luke Casely. She is a moderator on Kevin's channel. Lucy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, all. Yes, I used to moderate for Kevin, and it took me a while to get back into these sessions, these live streams that he used to have, because it's still, I cannot believe that we don't have him around. And the nuggets and the information that he gave about the modern woman were just on point. It's amazing. So I have a channel, a YouTube channel. I usually teach Spanish, but this year my focus is going to be on women's issues, especially for those women over 50. So be on the lookout for femininity, elegance, and just cultural things that happen when when we turn for women of a certain age. That's what they call them. So I'm planning on setting up weekly recordings with specific topics. And today's topic is really good because I had one of my followers, KS, he gave me an idea about the mindset of a woman. What is the right mindset of the woman that you are thinking of, maybe having her as your significant other? And this is a great topic because we're going to be talking about this today.
Absolutely. So you all can sit back and relax and listen, or I will drop the link in the chat if you want to talk to us, camera on or camera off. So the Kevin Samuels episode that we are responding to tonight, I always put the link in the description. It is How to Be a Woman in Demand. And I think all of his content was amazing, but for us ladies, and Lucy and I are very intentional about the older women teaching the young. That's how this whole thing started. But for Kevin to give us basically this playbook on what men are looking for, I thought it was really, really valuable. So I would love for any men watching, whether live or watching the replay, to chime in. Kevin talked a lot about men's issues, high value men, Henry, Hit Squad, but this one was directly for us ladies because we're going to go through this list and Lucy and I are going to respond from our own life experience, and you might be surprised at some of the things that men say are in demand. And if you listen to this episode, he made the distinction between a woman that is desired and a woman that is in demand. And they're similar but not the same, ladies. So a man can desire you, a man can want you, but is it the type of desire that leads to marriage and relationship? So we don't want to get attention confused with intention. So we are going to focus on being a woman in demand for relationship. A woman that's just desired can be something short term. All right. So let's see who we have here. You all are coming in. Rebecca says, hi, Maggie and Lucy. You watched Kevin's video just in time. I'm so glad. We definitely have our work cut out for you all to watch the Kevin Samuels episode so you can get your own takeaways as well. Everybody coming through. Hello, Fem Jim. Ebony says, are women jumping to be wise before disciplining themselves? All right. Well, we're going to go through. I'm going to star any questions that you all have. Lucy and I will go through our points and then we will definitely respond to you all. Thank you, Try Guy Travels. We appreciate you all liking the video. Okay. So I took some notes. I've got them on another tab here. So if you see me toggling, I had four things and a bonus that Kevin Samuel said was part of the components to be a woman in demand. So I'm going to list them and then we'll break each one of them down. And he gave these in order of importance. The first one was mindset, ladies, how we think, our fitness. There's no getting around it. You know, I put myself on the hot seat. Fitness, being feminine all the time, and then being nurturing. And then we'll talk about the bonus at the end. And I think it's really, really interesting that none of this had to do with looks or any type of like dress size or whatnot. So just remember that. All right, so let's go through the list and start with mindset. So, what did he say about mindset? A woman in demand, her mindset is the most important. She needs to be cooperative, smart, and agreeable. And I love that, ladies. I mean, if you believe in traditional relationships like we do, and I always give the disclaimer, I understand there's lots of different types of relationships, but if we believe that the man is the leader and that we are a helpmate, the man should have a plan and have a job, a role for us as a support system to him. And it looks different in different relationships, but we need to be cooperative on his program. We don't get in there and try and wrestle him to the ground and steer the wheel. Now that's why you have to choose wisely and you have to observe the man that you're interested in and decide if that's the wagon that you want to hitch yourself to. Likewise, he's looking at how well we are going to get on his program. Or you can exit with grace. Also, we need to be smart, ladies. You need to have a certain amount of of course, intellectual capacity and maybe even education, but really the common sense, ladies. How is your decision making? How well do you make the right choices in life? And that shows up even when you're a single woman, how you conduct yourself in smart decision making before you have a man. So you can't just be out here wilding out and then expect him to, take that on. And then you're going to start making smart decisions. So it starts now and then agreeable. That's similar to a cooperative, but ladies, a man who is on his purpose doesn't want to hear our mouth all day long. They don't want to be questioned all the time. Well, I don't understand. Well, can you explain it to me? And are you sure? No, you should be able to happily say, okay, of course, if you have questions, of course, if you have an opinion, but being disagreeable will get you disqualified. So those were the components of mindset, the way I saw it. Lucy, what would you say?
I agree. And like you, I don't have a tablet, but I do have my regular notebook with my notes. And yes, the three important characteristics that he talked about wanting to be a most wanted woman or a high demand woman, was to be agreeable, smart, and cooperative. Um, and one of the things that I, I looked at when he was talking about this was my mom. My mom, um, incredibly bright woman. She never she didn't go to college. I don't think she even finished high school, but she took my dad. She kind of guided my dad into he helped him finish his civil engineering degree, and we moved around. She was always there just as a supporting um, character for him. Whatever he did, she went along. Was it hard? It was absolutely hard, but she was always there, just, listening, being agreeable, being cooperative, and just she went along with what my dad thought was the best for the family. You're muted.
Struggle streaming. Absolutely. And those of us who grew up in traditional homes, hopefully we saw that example. I remember my mom as well. My dad was, of course he talked to my mom, but I remember when the decision was made, that was the decision. And we all just kind of fell in line because ultimately the man, the father, the protector, he is the one that is responsible. So he is the one that makes the decisions. And so that cooperativeness and agreeableness, when you're feeling, ladies, I always love to give you some tangible things, but when you're feeling that, if you know that you chose wisely, you can relax and rest in that. And even if it's just like, okay, it didn't turn out exactly as we planned, that is not the time for you to say, I told you so. It's okay, babe. You know, what can I do to help? Or is there anything I can do to help? You show your man the respect as the leader, and then it allows him to to move with even more boldness in making the decisions. A lot of times, ladies, we don't even realize that we can hamstring them with all the questioning, with all of the, nagging, and they're just like, forget it. It's not worth it. And then we're in this stalemate, and you're wondering how we got here. All right. I see some of the questions, but let us go ahead and go through. There's 4 points, and then we will definitely circle into your questions. You guys can put them in the chat, and I'm starring them, and we'll put them over to the side. Okay, so the next one on his list, and this is Kevin Samuel's video, How to Become a Woman in Demand, was fitness. And ladies, I'm going to raise my hand and put myself on the hot seat. This is a struggle for me. But what did Kevin say? Fitness comes down to 3 components: discipline, dedication, and discernment. Now, here's the deal, ladies. It's not about being a size, 4 or 6 or whatnot. And I understand, there's certain, everybody has their preferences. But really, the fitness is about how well you take care of yourself and your overall part of that decision making as well, right? So, discipline. Do you have some type of eating routine, exercise routine? Are you aware of how you take care of your body? Do you just wake up and snack all day? Do you just lay around all day? Or independently, do you put thought into, maybe it's meal planning, or meal prepping, or maybe you order those prepared meals? There's lots of things. And then also with the exercise, do you go to a gym? Do you walk every night after dinner? Do you do something? And it's important for a man to already see you moving in some type of discipline when it comes to your fitness. Even if you're a little bit bigger than you want to be, at least you're aware of it, and you're not just out here like, oh, whatever, I'm big boned or whatever. No, I have to stay on top of this all the time. I put myself on the hot seat for that. Also, dedication. Ladies, it's one of those things. I know, like, when we're younger, we can kind of get away with a lot of stuff, whether it's like sleeping 2 or 3 hours or eating junk food. And I know, Lucy, your channel is going to talk a lot about women as we age and maintaining that femininity. And our bodies change, ladies. We're not the same as we were in our 20s and 30s. So your routine and your dedication should be a lifelong commitment. You're going to have to maybe change up your diet, or maybe go to bed earlier, just different things, adjust your workout routine. Do you keep that top of mind, or are you just doing whatever you want to do? And then lastly, discernment. It goes back to your decision making, ladies, and what we put in our mouth, how we take care of ourselves. Also, I believe fitness is also part of drinking, smoking, any of those things that can harm you. Are you just reckless, or do you make good decisions? You know what? I'm really not going to go to such and such an event because it's going to be a lot of, wild party. I'm gonna opt for something a little bit more reserved. So when I think of fitness, yes, it's diet and exercise, but I think it encompasses so many things. So those were my thoughts on fitness. What would you say, Lucy?
Exactly. And another thing that he talked about is that fitness is not only physically, but also mentally. When you have that discipline, dedication, and discernment, are you able to follow through with your promises, with your commitment? Are you that committed to something that when you say, yes, I'm going to be here at this time, that he can count on you for you to be there at that time? For example, my husband, um, you guys know that we're going to be meeting in Atlanta for our Maggie Lou meetup. Um, he trusts me that I know Maggie. We are good friends, and we are going to be in the best environment, and that I'm going to be able to behave and comport myself the way I'm supposed to as a wife. And that is the he has seen my discipline, my dedication, and my discernment at making choices. So again, it also goes back to, is she able to be dedicated to her family, to her job, to does she have loyalty to me? Does she have that dedication to me that she's not gonna one day say, yeah, I'm not happy and I'm leaving you? So again, it goes back to all of those things, that it shows that you are physically and mentally fit to be in a relationship.
I love that. And I see someone very special in the chat. I just want to shout out Thane Mithra. You all know him and we love him. He says, pure selflessness. Traditional men know they never come first before your God or whatever you believe or family. Women who prioritize their man, the family, man, then family get the keys. Yes, ladies, Thane hit it on the head. And I just want to respond to something that Lucy said, and then we will continue on. So again, we're responding to Kevin Samuel's How to Be a Woman in Demand. And he had 4 components. We've gone over 2. We've gone over mindset and fitness. And I want to talk about what Lucy said about fitness and how, as wives, and whether or not you're married or used to be married, I still think we carry ourselves as wives. That means I have a respect not only for the husband that I want, but the husband that Lucy has. And I'll give you ladies an example. So I am planning a meetup here in Atlanta. You all may have heard about it, but we're going to be getting together to graduate the finishing school that Lucy and I teach, plus having a meetup for anyone who wants to come. We're having a whole weekend event. You all may know that I'm an Airbnb host and I've been doing it for several years. I have an in-law suite in my home. And so, just working offline with Lucy, I was like, oh, you're going to come from California to Atlanta and I'm going to host you and we're going to go to tea and we're going to do this and do that. And as women, we were excited and just kind of, planning all the details and just like ready to move forward. And Lucy told me her husband wanted to know where I live, my exact address, and see my listing on Airbnb. And so I immediately set it over so that Lucy's husband could do the research that he needed to give her, his blessing to come across the country and be with me. Now, I can see where some modern women might be like, well, who is he? And why does he care? And that's not your man. But ladies, if I am a wife, that means I respect husbands and the headship that they have. And I don't want Lucy's husband to be concerned about her trip. So I need to do everything in my power to make sure he feels comfortable so that his wife can travel and then we can do all this girl stuff. So just wanted to give you all an example of that. It's not just showing respect to your men, but it's really showing respect to, all men that take on the responsibility of a husband because he is her protector. And I have a lot of respect for that. So I just wanted to speak to that example. So he's given us his blessing and we're very, very excited. So much stuff coming in the spring. Y'all stay tuned. Okay, so I see you all coming through here. We're going to finish our list and then we will come to your questions. I'm starring them and I'll drop the link again in case anyone wants to chat. So Kevin Samuels, How to Be a Woman in Demand. Number 1 was mindset. Number 2 was fitness. So on my list, the number 3 that Kevin had in order of importance was feminine. And this one, I light up. I love this femininity space, ladies, because it really is our superpower. And when you embrace that and you realize that that is the one thing that we have that men don't, that when they see it, it's kind of like an oasis to them if you really tap into it. So here's what Kevin said if you listen to the video. A woman who is feminine doesn't have conditional femininity. That means we're not switching this on and off. If the man that we like is watching us, all of a sudden we're feminine. Other than that, we're dropping F-bombs and doing all this ratchet stuff. No, we are constantly feminine. And we show affection in public and in private. So let's, a couple more. He said, a woman that is feminine has soft eyes, a warm heart, and a slight smile. So when I think about those characteristics, ladies, again, this could be any age, this could be any ethnicity, this could be any culture. If you notice, these are character qualities that men look for the woman that's in demand, not the woman that they just desire, a woman that's in demand. And when I think about that, we all have somebody in our life. It could have been, I don't know, a mother, an auntie, or a grandmother, but someone that just kind of embodied that softness. And men really love that. I remember when I was talking to my man about it, he's like, sometimes women get all upset. Oh, I'm not your mama. I'm not this or that. It's not that at all. It's that they remember having that experience and that special woman that made them feel that way. And so when they think of their lineage, their children, their grandchildren, whether you have that, their children or not, you are going to be that example, that matriarch, that, special somebody in their life. So they're looking for those qualities so that their legacy can have the same experience that they did. So I really love that. And then the affection, ladies, I think modern women today have gotten so hard because they think that's what it takes to be successful. But when you're able to show affection, and not in an inappropriate way, but when you can really show that you care, it really goes a long way. So long-winded version, but Lucy, what would you say about feminine?
I agree. And I loved what he said about the soft eyes, warm heart and slight smile. And that brought back the example. It wasn't too good of an example. Remember that video about that boy that his mom was dancing, all provocative. She was like twerking with this YouTuber, I think it's little James, that was his name. And he saw and he started, fighting with the guy. And one of the things that I saw was that not one of those women came to him, hugged him, and said, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Let's get you out of here. They didn't show that warmth that you usually have when a child or an animal or something, a helpless creature needs in time of trouble. So for me, it's that kind of thing that as feminine women, we know when something needs that soft, that warm heart, we're there automatically. So, and that's one of those things that you cannot switch it on and off. You either have it or you don't. And I think that we do have it internally. It's just that some of us have been have shut it down, and you don't know how to have it emerge again. So it's okay to feel vulnerable and be humble and say, you know what, I need to get those emotions out as a woman when I need to take care of my pet, my child, my husband. Another thing about affection, it doesn't have to be something completely out there. The PDF, I think it's called, when your husband is sitting
PDA.
next, PDF is is computer stuff. So when, for example, my husband, he could be watching TV, I could be walking by, and all I need to do is just softly touch his head and massages as I'm walking by, and that is something that he just, oh my goodness, Thane, Mithra, thank you so much, sir. Oh my goodness. Okay. So anyway, the PDAs, they don't have, it doesn't have to be something outrageous. It's something that's soft touch that you have for the people you love.
Yes, and I was going to follow up on that. I see you all's comments. Thane, you leave us speechless every time, and all he says is he's watching and he's going back to the bushes. Ladies, this is such a teachable moment. The men are always watching. Sometimes they vocalize their comments. Sometimes they just, okay, tuck that away and remember it for next time. Thane, I have to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to put you in the ticker, but we are so grateful. We know that you're watching. We know that you're, in the bushes, and we appreciate you so, so much. Yes, everybody put Thane in the chat as he goes to the bushes. I saw Condemned in here as well. He says, "It breaks my heart when I meet women from my past who were soft as cotton, but because of their career are now hard as stone." Ladies, that is so true. And Lucy and I both work. We both have kind of corporate jobs. And I'm telling you, if you have the type of job or home life or whatever environment that brings out any type of masculinity in you, be aware of that and make sure as much as you can, you're going to have to lean into your femininity even harder. You won't just be able to say, I live a soft life and poof, it happens. We talk about that in some of the other, we do the finishing school, we have courses, I do consults and whatnot, but you're really going to have to be aware that this world that we live in, fast paced, competitive, data driven, having boys, working with men, it just makes you harder, harsher, louder than you want to be. And I loved what Condemn says is that he knows women from his past. They were soft. And now in the present, they're hard, which just means over time, you will become more masculine. If you do nothing, it will happen. So just be mindful of that. Thank you, Thane, so much. Wow, just incredible. I just saw that comment and I wanted to respond. Okay, so that was the third one. So we'll go to the fourth one and then I will come to you all's comments. So again, we are responding to Kevin Samuels' How to Be a Woman in Demand. And let's go to the last one. So we talked about mindset, we talked about fitness, we talked about being feminine, and then per Kevin's video, the last one was naturally nurturing. And I love this one as well. So this woman is carefree. She is loving. She has an easygoing nature and a lightness about her. And when I think of those descriptives, what I think of is she makes everywhere feel like home. And that can be in the little touches that we do. Of course, it can be at home, but you want the type of man that if you had to, just split a sandwich and be in like a cabin or something, like you still just made it feel warm and welcoming. That's what I really try to do in all areas. And I love that the carefree is really about, she's not so caught up in it has to be a certain way. She looks for the best in things. She wants to make others feel cared for. I love what Lucy said about ladies, that affection, touching your man on his head or rubbing his tummy or scratching his back, or just if mine is working on his laptop, sometimes I'll just, go over and give him a little peck on the cheek and then just go do other things. There's so many ways that you can show love without being invasive. And ladies, I want you to look for ways to be nurturing. Don't just sit back and be like, yeah, somebody's supposed to come take care of me. No, we need to be useful, ladies. Men fall in love with us over time by who we are to them and what we do for them consistently. So find ways to be nurturing. Lucy, what would you add?
Absolutely agree. And also, that femininity does not require, it doesn't mean that because you do something, you're expecting something back. It has to come from within. It has to be something that you do because you want to do it, not because you think, a month from now you're going to go on vacation and you want him to pay for the vacation. It's got to be something that comes naturally. We have it, ladies. We do have it. It's just that you have to be able to resurface it and just find the opportunities to be accommodating to. One of the things about accommodation means that his requests for you to do something are not a burden. And one of the things I know he tested me when we were going out, he would ask me on when we before I got to any place, to his apartment or whatever, he would ask me to get something for him on the way there. And I think he wanted to see whether it would be something out of my way and be upset. Or if I said, yeah, no, sure, let me just tell me what to do and then where to go, and then I'll be there. That's, it's not a burden because you want to do it. You want to be helpful. You want to make his life easier. Another thing that he talked about was I don't know if you got it, but it's a subtle sophistication. I don't know if it's part of the last uh, nugget that he gave, but he said that it's about a woman she can wear a Chanel dress or a sundress and carry herself the same way with dignity and respect either way. So again, just be, those are that kind of sophistication that people want to be around you because you make them feel welcomed. And that's another thing about um, the feminine portion is that you make people welcome. You welcome people into your world because you are that feminine energy that people want to be around and they feel good about you. Make people comfortable about you. You're not pretentious. You're not, there's that humility in you that, you know, people are people and you're going to be together and having fun no matter who it is within your circle of friends. And again, as feminine women, former wife, current wife, future wives, you have to be very discerning about the group of people that you decide to be part of your friendship circle.
Absolutely. And that's why I've created this community, ladies, because I know the message that's out there, the image that's out there does not promote what I think of myself, and I realized I'm not alone. So I'm so glad that you all are here. And clearly, we have men in this community. We are powered by men and supported and protected by men. I'll give you all a little story time too. I love what Lucy said about the tests, and then I'll give you Kevin's bonus, and then we'll open it up for you all. So if you have questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the chat. So my man also gave me a test as far as the naturally nurturing. And I love to take care. Of course, you all know I love to cook and serve. But when we would go out and they would bring the bread basket to the table, of course, you get your bread and you start to eat it. And one day at a restaurant, he said, I would like for you to butter my bread. And I was like, okay. So I got the basket, I got the bread, I got his little plate, I buttered his bread, and I served him. And it was just one of those things that I don't know if it was, well, I know it was a test just to see if I would, why. You're right there, the bread's right there, but I just, no questions asked, I did it. So this kind of became just what we do. So when we go out and the bread basket comes, if I forget, he just sits there and he looks at me and I'm like, oh, and I butter the bread. So most recently, I think we were on the cruise or something. And usually when you eat out, you're just at a table, the two of you, but we were in mixed company and it's habit now when the bread comes, I butter his bread and I serve him first. And there were some women around the table and I could feel the eyes like on me, like, what are you doing? Because he's just sitting there and I butter his bread and then he just gives me this slow nod and I know what it means, right? And that's just what we do. And I remember in that moment having that like 0.2 hesitation, like, oh crap, people are watching, now what? But honestly, I don't care because it's important to him, so it's important to me. Full stop. And if someone else doesn't like it, don't butter your man's bread. I'll be buttering mine. So ladies, just that thing like Lucy said, they will test us. They will do different things just to see, if we're on the program. And that's an opportunity for you to shine or not. All right. So the last thing the bonus that I had from my notes listening to Kevin. So we talked about the 4 in order of importance: mindset, fitness, feminine, and nurturing. And again, ladies, remember, none of them had to do with any type of look, dress size, ethnicity, anything. It was just these qualities that are important to men. And I would love for the men to chime in. So the last one that he said was a bonus was The women that are in demand, and again, if you listen to this video, he talks about the difference about being a woman who is desired. There's a lot of Instagram pictures for women who want to be desired, but are they in demand? So the women that are in demand want to, what did he say? Get on with their life. They are not waiting around for the highest bidder. And I thought that was really important because when you're marriage minded, Lucy and I were both married young, first marriages about 10, 11 years, and now remarried or in long-term relationship. So when a woman who's in demand prioritizes relationship, she doesn't try to play this game in life where, what did he say, trying to get the highest bidder. Oh, he's not tall enough, he's not this enough, he's not, attractive enough, he's not whatever. If you find a good quality man with good character, you hit your wagon and you get out of the dating game. What I see is a lot of women who want to play in traffic and then get surprised when they're, in their later years, and now they're scrambling because they didn't prioritize it. So if you always think, the next or better one will come, be wary of that and prioritize relationships. So anything to say about the bonus, Lucy, and then we'll open it.
Exactly. I agree. I mean, I do hear these modern women saying that they have like a roster of men and they have a list of men to, just in case. And when you have that, the high demand woman mindset is you're with this man, you plan to make a life with this man, and this is the man that you will be spending the rest of your lives with. And usually we get married pretty quickly, that one between 1 and 2 years, the men know whether you have that mindset or you're not. So again, those high demand women know where they stand, know what they want, and they're not picking and choosing for the best bidder. You know exactly that man is the one that's going to be right for me, and hopefully that man is going to ask me to be his wife soon.
I love that. Okay, ladies. So now I'm going to go back through the chat. I saw some questions coming through, so we're going to try and respond to these. Thank you all so much for the engagement. So that was our feedback. So I'm just starting at the top of the list, and then I'm going to go down. If I missed it, feel free to repost it. So Ebony came in with one of the first questions. She said, are women jumping to be wives before disciplining themselves to be a wife? If I understand the question, I'm not sure if I understand the question, but I always answer for my understanding. So I don't think you jump to be a wife. I think you make a decision that marriage is important to you and you act accordingly. I think there are some characteristics of being a wife that we should show up wife ready. However, there are some things that we need to do to customize ourselves to our man, like buttering bread or whatever it is. I'm joking. But the question about disciplining themselves to be a wife, if you're not disciplined, I don't think you're going to be selected to be a wife. Ultimately, the man chooses. Remember, ladies, we want his name, his ring, his provision, his covering, his protection. So the man chooses. They ask, we either accept or we politely decline. So you're really not going to jump to the front of the line as a wife. You're either going to be proposed to or not. What would you say to that, Lucy?
I agree. And remember that the men, what they're doing is just assessing the, what is it, assets and liability. Will she be an asset for me or will she be a liability? And I'm thinking that maybe that's part of the discipline, dedication, and discernment part of the fit, being physically and mentally fit. That is one of those characteristics that a marriage minded woman will have already that mindset from the get-go. It's nothing about jumping into being a wife and then disciplining to be a wife. You already have it. And you're going to hone in those characteristics to be ready for that husband.
Absolutely. I love it. Rodney says being a wife is not a leap of blind faith. It is a conscious decision. Absolutely. All right. The next question I have was also from Ebony. Ebony, she says, what do you mean by smart? I feel like I'm smart. Are you talking about decision making? Yes, and again, ladies, the smart thing, and I think I saw something in here from Rebecca, so I'll just add this and answer them both. I feel like the smart part hits harder for those who have degree or pride themselves mainly in their knowledge of things, but it's not directly beneficial to him or the family. Ladies, we don't need to overcomplicate this. I think we know what smart means. Yes, do you make good decisions? Now, if you're formerly educated, that's great. My mom has a PhD. My dad has a PhD. Lucy's mom may or may not have graduated high school, but look at what of an asset she is to her husband. So let's not get caught up in that. I am a student of academia. I've got a bachelor's and a master's and a whole bunch of IT certifications. That's great. But I don't lead with that. Most people don't even know because that's not what's important to me. It's part of my, paper that, helps provide for me and my children, but that's not that's not what brings me value. So to me, smart is just common sense. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. It's the common sense part. And I think that he brought up the I'm a PhD part. And he said it was about just having that common sense on, decision making. Do you have, are you financially fit? Are you impulsive when it comes to your purchases? Are your finances up here when you meet him and you expect him to be the one that covers that financial irresponsibility that you have? What is your life up to this point? Is it a accumulation of good decisions or bad decisions? So I think that goes back to having that common sense of making right decisions. It has nothing to do with having a master's, PhD, MD, or anything else. But do you have that mindset of common sense decisions?
Absolutely. And Fem Gems is asking about April. So, yes, I'll be talking about this more on my channel. But April 5th, 6th, and 7th, we have a public event for the community, the Maggie Lou Meetup. The ladies in the finishing school. The next Saturday, we'll have a graduation dinner at the Cheesecake Factory because we are perfectly fine with that. And then another private event on Sunday. So, go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com for all of the details. All right. Celine says, do you think it's wrong of me to be undecided about not wanting children? I love children, but I am at a crossroads if I want children in my near future. It is a personal decision. I will say this. Most men marry because they want some type of legacy. It could be children. It could be they have children and they want a mother figure. It could be their children are grown and they want a matriarch grandmother figure. It just could be the feminine asset to their masculine brand to carry on their name and to represent them well. So ladies, you can always want or not want what you like. Nobody's going to, force you to have children if you don't want to. But I would just say be honest with yourself and be honest with your man. If you're not sure, don't lead him down the path of thinking that's an option and then, he gets, to find out afterwards that you never really wanted children. That is evil. So don't do that. Would you add anything to that, Lucy?
I agree. And remember that as women, we are wired to want to have children. So to me, that question kind of, there's got to be something else about thinking about not wanting children in your near future, because every woman later on regrets not having children. For me, I would love to have a little Jeff and a little Lucy walking around, but I was never given the opportunity. My body didn't allow it to happen. But I can tell you that wanting children in your near future, that's going to be, it's going to impact you later on if you decide not to have them, and then you see your opportunity to have children clo- just clo- closing. The doors are very small, and once they close out, that's it. And you don't want to be um, a resentful woman because you decided not to have children. Of course, having children with your husband, that's going to be able to help you in the family upbringing and so forth. But I think that having children is part of what we are wired to do.
Yeah, I agree. And ladies, it's a free country and you can do whatever you will like, but take it from two older women. I mean, Lucy, you know, oh, the mother she would be. It just, even me, yes, it's a struggle. Yes, it's a sacrifice. I'm a boy mom, two teenage boys now. And there were some hard times. I remember there was a 4 year period where I was either expecting nursing, had a little one. It's crazy. You just feel like, sleeping and showering is the best you can do. But I just know this, as we age and these big jobs and these big degrees and these accomplishments and even some friends and people, things that we think are so important, yes, they have a moment of importance in your life, but nothing matters like family. And if you have the opportunity to create the family that you want, even through the hard times, most people look back and either they are glad they did it or wish they had. So I will just, leave it as that. Thank you, the Clue Channel. I appreciate that compliment. I hope so. And for me, my man has said there are children on both sides. Both were married, and we have to finish what we start, and I have to respect that. Absolutely. So one day my time will come. All right, so I'm just looking through to see if there's any other comments. I see, yes, the sisterhood was watching me buttering that bread, but you know what? Where are they now? All right, let's see. Any other questions? We also dropped the link. FemGem says you have to prepare yourself with the soft skills, just like the women in the Bible. Ladies, yes, and I will just say this. Whatever your faith is, in every culture, wives and women that are feminine have certain characteristics. Watch this video and look at that list: mindset, femininity, fitness, and nurturing. That doesn't say anything about and we believe, but that doesn't say anything about any particular faith. It is universal and it crosses culture. So I know sometimes, the passport bros is a hot topic, but they are still looking for those same qualities, even if they go thousands of miles away to find it. So we're talking about body. I just be mindful. Yes, physically fit, financially fit. That is very important. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. All right, I'm just scrolling to see. Celine says, should I have more than 30,000 saved before 30? I mean, if you can, that's great, but I don't think it's not about a particular dollar amount, ladies. I think we should be fiscally responsible. You definitely don't want to have $30,000 of debt. But if you want to be with a masculine man, a provider man, he's not looking to you to add financially to the balance sheet. He is willing to provide, of course, at his level. This is not about, an extravagant life, but a man who is ready for marriage can take care of himself and the family that he chooses. So your income is not an asset to him. In marriage, they look for us to bring other intangibles that are very valuable, but it's not a line item on the balance sheet. So, I mean, if you're able to save that, maybe you live at home and you have a job and you store all your money, that's great. But ladies, I think that's something that a lot of modern women put the wrong amount of importance on, is that I have these dollars in my bank account or behind my name. But if you are a hard masculine woman, it's not going to help you. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. I think that it's great that you could have that amount, but what I'm thinking is that you don't want to come in with a high, with debt into a relationship, because that's one indication that there's something array. Are you impulsive? What are you, who are you trying to impress? So again, it would be great to save that way, but I think that when it comes to being financially fit, it means that, are you um, smart about your financial choices that you make?
Absolutely. So I see lots of comments here. I don't know if this is something to translate or what is this one?
That is something I think that Fresh and Fit, they have something that says Don DeMarco, when I think that it's something like a highlight on a topic or something.
Well, we have somebody in the back. who needs no introduction. I am going to mute myself and bring him on, and you will hear his voice. Sir, you have the floor.
Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New
Hello,
Year.
ladies and gentlemen. How are you
How
doing?
are you doing?
Good.
Something has made me come up. I was just gonna listen from in the background and disappear, do other things. However, this is a very good topic. I'm going to point out a few things, but as usual, Lucy and Maggie, God bless you for the work you're doing. I noticed the chat has less than 20 people. 5 years from now, let's circle back on this conversation as time goes by, as we watch modernity crumble, as you watch the younger woman get aware, because things are changing. I'm noticing young people are starting to ask questions about what they've been taught versus what they're seeing happen. So there's hope. This work is vital. I'll say it over and over and over again. But what's sad is this wisdom you ladies are imparting is only being listened to a few right now. You'll get your just dividends later. This hard work does not go unrecognized in the night. For so let those wise people who have wisdom watch, listen, and learn. The rest we'll find out later, but there's time. Now, enough of my soapbox. I wanted to make a couple of points. Just a few. Yeah, Rebecca, I came out of the bushes. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. The topic was juicy. I decided to chime in. I'm going to have a counterpoint or two. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not think you need to be in demand. To me, being in demand is cheap. Being in demand is a common commodity. I think you need to be worth recognized, being recognized as a worthy human being of being selected. That does not mean you need to be in demand. Being in demand to me means you are that TikTok IG model who is being advertised. And that does not compute well with me. Why? There's an African saying, and I'll repeat it because I've told this to the gentlemen before. Never say this to the ladies, even though someone listening. It's a Swahili saying that says, chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. I'll translate. I'll repeat in Swahili. Chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. This is the direct translation. A bad thing advertises itself. A good thing never does. It's self evident. Make of that what you will. So, if you want to be in demand, want to be that boss babe IG model, advertising yourself to be in demand, good luck when the potential people who are checking on you are not what you want for the long term. Because then you become the fun girl, the recreational use only person, not the potential helpmate to that person you want. In this modern day and age, everybody seems to have this overinflated sense of ego. Even I am egotistical as a man. We men, you have to have that edge to be able to navigate your way in this world. We men are competitive, we're savage. We compete with each other on every given day. Sir Condemned can tell you. But even we, competitive men with our egos, know one thing. As much as I believe I'm the biggest, baddest silverback gorilla, I know one day, in any day, at any time, at any second, I can walk into a room and there will be a kaiju sitting in there. Because guess what? He's Godzilla. So, as much as as much as I think I'm King Kong, on any given day, at any given time, I'm never gonna dare step or disrespect another man because his ego will supersede mine, not just by ego, but with action and power. To my point, ladies, as a human being, for longevity, what I believe is you have to understand selflessness. Selflessness meaning if you want to get your desired result, your ego has to get out of the equation. If you're going to say, I do not need any man, I want a man, but I do not need a man, I can do battle by myself, I wish you well. What I've noticed, especially from the culture I'm from, the matriarchs I have a lot of respect for. The women who I actually hold in high esteem, especially in my family, have this one very distinct factor in common. In as much as they're powerful, they're very quiet and they're very selfless. Do you know how the most intelligent woman can get me to listen? Very quiet voice, low decibel. The most intelligent women pick how to communicate effectively, not by yelling, not by speaking when you think you need to speak, by picking when you speak and how you do it. And I've had Lucy and Maggie say this over again. They know this. You don't talk to a man to voice whatever concerns you have whenever you feel like. You don't communicate because the verbal diarrhea is in your head and you want to get it out. No. You construct your thoughts, you choose when you pick your battles, and you communicate. My late mother never heard her raise a voice ever in life. Not once. Excuse my French, but she'd make you feel like shit very easily. All she had to do was give you a look, say okay, and walk away. And you would run back 10 minutes later saying, I'm sorry, mom, I did this. Yes, me. Women who master that art get the house keys. Third point, and Lucy hit the nail on the head. That's actually why I pulled up, because there's a very good tips that are just being skated over. I hear a lot of women saying they want a 1% man. They want the six figure, 6 foot, whatever. Cool. Not a problem. Everybody wants to aspire to be better. A lot of people who say this, I'm not sure understand the responsibilities that come with wanting this. Do you think you're going to want a successful man without actually bringing a lot of intangibles to the table? Are you the kind of woman who'll get up at 5 a.m. to make his meal, to make sure his clothes are intact? Because it's a job. It's not you going in there and, because they're maids and there's a chef, you're going to be sitting, eating frou-frou and chocolate, and it's a lot of work. It's putting yourself last. It's putting your man and family first. It is understanding exactly what it takes to contribute to make that kind of person go out into the world and keep on slaying so that you enjoy the lifestyle you have. I was brought up by A type, dictator, disciplinarian type of father. Very successful, very intelligent. We had maids, we have servants, we have cooks, we have everything else spoiled rotten. But guess one thing I never saw? I never saw one of those maids ever touch a meal to serve to my father. That only came from one person and one person only. As matriarchal as my mother was, as successful as they were, No one ever fed him his food. Ever. So, point is, you have to learn selflessness. You have to figure out, if I want this type of relationship, am I able to put my ego aside when I need to? Because learning selflessness, I believe, is a bicycle that once ridden is a path that keeps on getting tread. Selflessness becomes an action. So for me, if you're incapable of being selfless to a man, you're incapable of being the mother, a good mother of her children. Because I'll expect the children to come first when I'm not there. And if you're incapable of showing me your selflessness, so is my lineage. That's a non-starter. So I'll say the quiet part aloud to make of it what you will. Lastly, before I get off the soapbox, finances. Yeah, you could have successful men. Yeah, you could have your own money. Here's the quiet part being said aloud. Doesn't matter how much money I make, or any successful, or even average man makes. It matters your mentality about finances because it is very well known. Poor financial discipline is destructive. I do not know of any man who's intelligent enough with any level of cognizance of wisdom will want to marry a person who is going to destroy his hard work. So, yes, you want the Birkin bags, you want the lifestyle, you want to get into a relationship with debt, good luck. If anything, if this was a man's chat, I'll tell him don't date a woman before you look at a credit report. Look at it; it'll tell you all you need to know. Some of us have made those mistakes. I've heard excuses like retail therapy. Some of us have tried to save women and pay your debt over and over and over. Yeah, retail therapy. Why do you go gambling with your mom at the casino? Well, excuses, excuses, excuses. You complain you're living paycheck to paycheck, but you want a man to come save you. It's not happening in this day and age. Not unless you're worth saving. Being worth saving is being a decent human being who is actually intelligent enough to try to do what's hard, what's difficult, not what's convenient. There's a very, very intelligent question that was asked that impressed me. Should I save 30K before 30? It's not about saving, the amount is irrelevant. It's about the discipline and the frugality. So, for the people listening today, I have one simple request. Just go Google the 13 things that frugal people do. It'll tell you all you need to do to start on that mindset. Because here's another unspoken truth: rich and successful people that I know are some of the most frugal people I know. They're not into blowing money for the sake of blowing money. It takes a lot of hard work to make and maintain money, a lot of correct decisions, a lot of discipline, and a lot of deferred gratitude. So I guarantee you, it will take a lot of work for you to actually get the kind of man who wants to defer his gratitude and bestow it on you, because that's a lifetime of work. Welcome to my TED Talk. That's it. Anyway, that's all I had to say on the topic. I like the topic, and that's why I decided to just jump in and saying that.
Well, Thane, you are welcome here anytime. We love when Mufasa Thane comes to give his TED Talks, and sometimes they include a spanking. And from the bottom of my heart and Lucy and the whole chat, I am so grateful for you today and every day. And Yeah, we appreciate that you all see the work that we're doing, and we do hope that whether it's today or long after we're gone, the legacy that we're leaving and trying to help young women makes a difference. So thank you.
My
My
apologies if it
apologies.
seems like it's a spanking. I tend to be sometimes overbearing, but the tone in my voice is just to convey the gravity of what is being said. However, I'll be in the bushes. Some of us are always watching. Keep on working, Lucia and Maggie. It's good work.
Thank
Okay, okay,
you.
thank you.
Well, on that note, everyone, I think we are going to close out. Thane came and blessed us with his wise words, and we really respect the men on all of our channels. But when I booked that session with Kevin in 2021, I realized that he was creating content for men, and it was always a men's platform, and we will always respect the men. So I stopped and listened, and really put value in what the men have to say. So, Lucy, any final words to close us out?
There was like a commercial when Thane speaks, everybody listens. And, those were amazing words of wisdom. You can tell that he comes from an incredibly amazing culture, tradition. Um, he has seen the beautiful things about a traditional environment, and he's comparing it to the modern world. And it's, like you and me, Maggie, we see it, and it's really concerning, but there is hope. I think that the more we speak about this, the more the young women start agreeing that there has to be a different way to do things. I think we can change it, um, one drop in a bucket at a time.
And that's what we do. So please share this content. The Wives Club is here for you all every week. We always respond to a Kevin Samuels video, even though he is not with us. His voice still lives on. He left us quite the catalog. So we will be here to respond and share our thoughts. And we love hearing you all's. I have a channel, I do food and femininity content. Lucy does femininity over 50. And so we definitely want to help offer a different perspective, because we do have a heart for the young women, and we know the message that's out there. Like Thane said, in a few years, well, people are already starting to question it now, and I think it might get worse before it gets better. So you all are welcome here, and we will see you on the next episode of the Wives Club. Yes, thank you. Thank you for liking the stream on your voice on your way out. And thank you, Thane, for everything. We appreciate it so, so much. All right,
Wait,
everyone.
to close it out,
Yeah.
remember, a bad thing advertises itself, and a good thing is self-evident.
Ladies, there you go. The men are always watching. So what do you want to advertise? It's your choice. And I always say there's different kinds of relationships. Choose wisely what works for you. All right. Good night, everyone.
Adios.